Welcome to the Spiritual Principles Made Practical podcast. And today we're going to talk about how clarity can be expressed in every perspective and dimension. So if I'm talking to somebody about a mortgage and I'm talking to them, then I can be honest and spontaneous and clear and truthful and all of the, and at ease and inspired and have that clarity and joy and upliftment in that conversation. If I'm coaching somebody and I'm talking to them about uh, I'm inspired to share with them about their what their thoughts appear to be and what or ask them at least to identify what their thoughts are in a certain area, then there's clarity and honest and truth and upliftment there. And if I'm, having fun trash talking on the tennis court and in the zone, then there's clarity and upliftment there. And so that clarity and upliftment can be uh, experienced in every dimension and circumstance and perspective. And so it's not a matter of, I've got to be in some spiritual, deeply spiritual conversation in order for it to be uplifting. No, I just have to be present and allow the joy and the love and the wisdom to express as it will, and trust that in the present moment, however that expression is optimal for everybody. It's has the maximum upliftment for everybody. So it's not a matter of you don't have to just sort of be limited to spiritual conversations to have tremendous upliftment. Um, could be anything. It could be any circumstance, and so it's not a matter of like I've got to not engage in the physical world of I could be in the zone, um, inputting uh, data in QuickBooks for my taxes, right? I could be in the zone for that, right? Because in the zone is like being present, and it's you don't have an experience of time, and there's when I do that, it's like I just feel there's just like this real calm and peace, and that's that calm and peace is just as spiritual and alignment if it's inspired in the moment as exuberant, insightful, groundbreaking perspectives, right? And it's all just as valid and uplifting to be calm and at peace and centered and inputting data, and so uh, it doesn't make one sort of perspective or activity more or less uplifting than another. And that's kind of helpful to know because it's like, okay, well, it's not like I'm missing out on the joy and the juice of life when I'm taking the trash cans out, I could just be just as present there. That whole thing of like, before enlightenment, you chop wood and carry water, and after enlightenment, you chop wood and carry water, right? So it's the joy of being isn't restricted to certain activities. And so that's, what I was inspired to share about in today's podcast as I did my morning meditation. And we got, oh, this is really important, and so it's okay. And as is often the case, what happens is that I'll record a podcast and it'll emphasize a perspective or an understanding. And like in this case, like there's no activity that's inherently more spiritually uplifting than another. Uh, it's not the activity, it's the consciousness with which it's performed. But that as I go through the day, I go, oh, I'll remember that understanding and perspective that I shared and more deeply ingrained by sharing it with you, during the day, and it'll bring balance and perspective and value to my day as I go along because that's the optimal way for me to view and understand uh, my perception of the world that I've created throughout the day. And that's uh, it's it's my attempt or how I go about trying to get the most out of my life and that I've created in time, right? Because I mean, part of me says, well, time only exists when the mind creates it, and I go, yeah, and I am engaged with the mind a lot, and it creates time a lot, and so I might as well. So there's opportunity to experience the joy of that creation of time if I look at it from an honest and uplifting perspective. And so it's don't so that's my sort of inspiration for today is um, don't cheat myself out of experiencing the joy and upliftment because I deem an activity to be mundane, and because it's any activity can be uplifting, and no activity, no matter how trivial we might have thought it was before, still has the potential to for me to be in the experience of uplifting joy and as I perform that activity. So I'll see how I do with that because historically, right, when I'm coaching or giving a speech or stuff, historically it's like, oh my God, that's when I'm just like uplifting, feet don't touch the ground. This is wonderful, yay, hooray, and stuff, and I need to be able to, have that level of joy and flow and peace, even in the most uh, what I'll term as mundane of actions. So we'll see how I do with that. But anyway, that's my inspiration for today is to share that. I mean, so many people, they go to like spiritual programs and they go, "Oh yeah, no, I wish I could like stay here and never leave because this is such a great space." And they don't realize that all of that joy and all of that connection and all of that upliftment is available even in the most mundane tasks of day-to-day life in the world, differentiated world that we create with our mind. And so I'm gonna try to be more aware of that as I go through my day to day, and that's my message to myself for today. All right, I do thought coaching. If you'd like to be more aware of what your thoughts are and the power you have to choose which thoughts to act on, and create greater alignment with yourself, uh, I can help with that if you want my help. Or you can do it on your own, I mean, whatever works for you. But if you want my help, you can contact me at scottfriedman40@gmail.com for a free introductory coaching session, and it'll be great. We'll have a good time. My books are available on Amazon. You can find links to them on my website, www.thoughtcoachingbyscott.com. All right, let's make sure that we don't miss out on the joy of whatever activity we're engaged in, whether it's conscious global healing or inputting data into QuickBooks. The opportunity to experience the joy and the wisdom and the creativity that we are exists no matter what behavior we're engaged in. All right, be well.